The BBC only portrays working-class Brits if they are, quotes, miserable, broke or in despair. That's according to the presenter and Labour peer Melvyn Bragg. The proud Cumbrian and son of a pub landlord has slammed the public broadcaster for not well serving the public, arguing it fails to represent the majority of the population. Despite recent Beeb hits, including Life and Death in the Warehouse and Freddie Flintoff's Field of Dreams, which showcase the working class experience, Bragg believes many promote unfair cliches and stereotypes. It comes after Ofcom criticised the BBC for failing to reach and resonate with working class viewers, with figures showing the majority of those from more affluent backgrounds felt they were better represented. Melvyn Bragg's exactly right. The thing about the BBC, it has a strange kind of in-house news sense. They do a different kind of journalism. Everything has to be miserable. If it's miserable and sad, the BBC thinks it's a great story. So all working-class people, and this is also because the BBC is full of middle-class, upper-class people, they think that because this is an unfair society, that those at the bottom of the social ladder, the working class, must be miserable. They must be in despair, suicidal, awful. So that's the way they're depicted. And what Melvyn is saying, that's really unfair, because there are lots and lots of very happy, contented working class people, and we never see that on the BBC. They have the same attitude to military veterans. You've never seen a military veteran on the BBC that wasn't suicidal, suffering from PTSD, their lives ruined. A lot of military veterans are nothing of the type. So there are stereotypes that the BBC creates, and it is all about misery and despair.
To be fair, I think the BBC have probably got a PhD in this. I don't think it's only them. As probably the only working-class boy on the panel, the idea that it's a... what's the experience... What was the phrase?
The working-class experience.
The working-class experience, like it's some sort of passing phase.
It's in Cumbria.
You should go. Well, how is that? How's that black experience of here? How's that going? You know? How was it for that 5 minutes? You know,
yes.
You have an experience all the time throughout your life, whatever your background is. And I'd never thought of being working class as some sort of minority, which it isn't in the wider country, but it is in the media world. It's very much a minority, and it affects a lot of areas that don't really... I mean, when I talk to people who don't come from that background, their idea of what they think middle-class people live in, you know, you live in slums and that sort of thing, and had a lot of that, and, you know, you eat fish and chips every day, do you? It's like that kind of thinking, and the idea that you don't have any running water, and... you know, just mad stereotypes that would never get a free pass in any other world.
But you're right.
They do in the working class world. It's a miserable existence.
But we don't...
Well, it is, it's not true, though.
No, it's not. It's a wonderful, amazing, loving, brilliant, uplift.
Exactly.
Absolutely fantastic.
But, and also you don't
in a community that was mostly loving as well.
But you don't see portrayal of aspirational working-class people who've done really well, who are driven, who are passionate, do you? And that's the point. And there are many of those. And, in fact, I hate to bring up the B word, but in the Brexit vote, that was again the point. They completely underestimated how the rest of the country felt. So the news agenda was entirely skewed one way, and the rest of the country, and the working class population, actually kind of put two fingers up.
One thing I'm not clear about was Melvyn Bragg talking about a drama and creative arts and so on. Was he talking about the arts, or was he talking about news and portrayal of the real world?
I think mainly news, but if in terms of drama, think about EastEnders, for example, the soap opera, you know, a bunch of working-class people. The joke figure, the one who everybody has contempt for, is the aspirational Ian Beale, who's the small businessman trying to get on in life. He is seen as a figure of contempt.
And just on that very point, very quickly, I remember seeing an episode of EastEnders where Phil Mitchell was having dinner and he had, like, sliced baguette and olive oil on the table. It never happened in a working-class household ever in the history of working class. But somebody dressed that set because that's the they didn't know it.
In the Queen Vic one night, they had EU night.
Of course they
East End working class people.
We are now moving on from EastEnders.